Hello everyone, it is Jazz here, and today we're going to be doing a book ranking video. For the last few years, I've always set up a reading planner, and I like to do a lot of inserts into that I usually purchase off of Etsy that I can print out and add to my planner that are related to books. And this year I decided to add 100 books to read in a lifetime. I found a list. I'll link it below in the description. It lists a whole bunch of books, and you can basically color in the graphic every time you read one of the books. In my lifetime so far, I have read 36 books from this list, and I thought it would be really fun to rank those 36 books for you today. The top level, the awesomeness of all awesome books, the favorites of all time, are in a category called super shiny. A little below that is great reads. These are books that maybe aren't the favorite of all time, but they are really excellently executed books, or books that I remember really enjoying and I felt were worth my time. Then there's meh, which are the books that are just fine. They were probably 3-star reads, but they were not horrible. I decided to create a category called respect, but not for me. These are books that I think innovated their genre, but are books that were not my cup of tea. Then there's nope, which obviously is the books that I don't like at all, really. Now, let us dive into the books. So the first one up here is The Three Musketeers. I'm gonna put this one in meh. I do like the characters. I do like the melodrama of this book, but I feel like it meanders a lot in terms of plot. Next is Karenia. I will never say the title of this book correctly. I'm gonna put this in great reads. I think that the characters and their writing style are surprisingly easy to get into, and while the political discussions do run on, I think they're still discussions of merit. I have Anne of Green Gables, which obviously, if you followed my channel at all, goes straight up to super shiny. I talk about it basically in every other video, and it's a series that is my fandom. The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes, I think I will put in great reads. I haven't completed the whole Sherlock Holmes series, but I've read a good chunk of it. And I will say that I do tend to enjoy the novels better than the short stories collections. And this one is a short story collection, but it's really quite good. All the stories in it are quite good. And of course it has A Scandal in Bohemia in it, which is the one with Irene Adler, which is the best story. A recent read for me, The Curious Incident of the Dog in the Nighttime. That is going up to the super shiny tier, even though it is a recent read. I really loved it. It jam-packs a lot of good awesomeness into a little tiny book. Dracula. I want to put it in nope because I did not like Dracula at all. I know some people love it, but I do feel like it innovated a genre of horror, and also I do feel like, you know, all my favorite vampire movies and books and TV shows might not exist without Dracula. So I'm going to put it in respect, but not for me, even though it's the book that made me wary of epistolary novels. The Bell Jar. I don't actually remember a lot of the plot of The Bell Jar, but I remember the feeling that it inspired in me, and I also remember exactly where I was when I read it. So it made an impression on me, but I feel like I'd have to reread it before I could put it in the favorites, the super shiny level. So I'm going to put it in great reads. Alice in Wonderland. This might inspire controversy, but I hate Alice in Wonderland. That goes in nope. I get that it's supposed to be a nonsensical novel, but I think that that could have been done without making the characters mean and kind of creepy. Charlotte's Web. I love Charlotte's Web. I know some people don't. I've heard recently that people don't, but I have always enjoyed this book, and it's about love and sacrifice and all that great stuff. Bridget Jones's Diary, that pop culture classic, I will put in great reads. I haven't read it since I was a teenager, so I'm not sure what I would think of it as an adult. That's why I didn't put it at the top. but I do remember getting a lot of enjoyment out of the kind of dark humor that's involved in it. Dune for sure goes in respect, but not for me. I kind of enjoy the first half of the book, but I felt like the second half of the book could have been better executed, though I do respect its world building and what it did for the fantasy and sci-fi genre. Fahrenheit 451. I'm not sure if I want to put this in super shiny or great reads. I think I'm going to put it in great reads because I think it's a book that you read more for the concept than you read for character or anything else. But I really like how the concept was executed. However, I think all of these I read for like my character-driven soul, if that makes sense. Frankenstein. I liked Frankenstein. I think I gave it 4 stars. It was an excellent read, and that definitely is something that I would reread. It is an epistolary. That's the classic that I enjoy. The Great Gatsby. I love this book. I don't know why it ended up in meh for a second there, but I quite love The Great Gatsby. I really love the symbolism. I really love the psychology of The Great Gatsby. I know people have struggles, especially recently, with Gone with the Wind, and I respect why people have the struggles with Gone with the Wind, but I think it is one of my favorite books, not because the characters are likable or they do anything that I agree with, but because they are really well constructed, layered characters. Hamlet. I don't think it's my favorite Shakespeare play, but it is a very good Shakespeare play. We're going to put that in great reads. The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. I did like this. It wasn't a super fave, but I do think it was better than meh. I do think the humor in it is really funny, and I do think you should check it out if you want to get some pop culture references, because a lot of things reference Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, and I think it does do a lot for the genre that it's in. So I think it is definitely worth picking up, and I would reread it for sure. I love The Hobbit. I'm going to put The Hobbit at the top. If you're wondering why Lord of the Rings isn't on here, it's because I read Fellowship of the Ring and Two Towers in their entirety, but I still to this day have not finished the last 4 chapters of Return of the King, and on that list it binds up Lord of the Rings in one bind up, and I am slowly making my way through a reread of the series so I can eventually finish those last 4 chapters, but I didn't count it or color it in because I don't feel like that's right, because I didn't read the last 4 chapters of Return of the King. Jane Eyre. Since I have a whole series based on Jane Eyre on this channel, you know that that goes straight up to the super shiny thing. The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe is another super favorite of mine. I love an allegory story, and this one fulfills that in its entirety. Although I will note, please, please, please read the Chronicles of Narnia series in the order in which the books were published, not in the chronological order, because I just think it's better that way. The Little Prince. I know that I read this, but I do not remember a single thing about The Little Prince. However, I don't think it was meh for me. Like, I'm pretty sure I enjoyed it. So I will put it in great reads, and I know it's another allegory. So I think if I picked it up and read it again, I would enjoy it on a second read. Maybe I shouldn't put it up as high because I don't remember a single thing about it, but I don't have any negative feelings about The Little Prince. Little Women. Y'all know I love this book. It's one of my faves of all time. Little Women rocks everything. Through the Looking Glass. Well, I do like it better than Alice in Wonderland. I still don't like it. So it's going in nope. Another one going in nope right here is Lord of the Flies. I could put it in respect, but not for me, because I get that its popularity is based on its allegory and its symbolism. I get why people like it, but I hated every minute of reading this book, and I didn't know who was talking half the time. Memoirs of a Geisha. While not an Own Voices book about a Japanese character, and there is some controversy surrounding this book. I'm still going to put it in great reads. I don't consider it like a super favorite, but I remember giving it a really high rating. I think the writing style is really great, and I also think the like way the character narrates, chef's kiss. I will put Of Mice and Men also in the great reads category. You have to be in the mood to really delve into the symbolism and the concepts of that book, but you can enjoy it if you don't feel like delving in. So while not a super favorite, I did think it was definitely worth my time. Pride and Prejudice. Super shiny tear. I love it so much. Another super awesome favorite of mine is Rebecca. It is the bomb, and it is everything a Gothic book should be. The Catcher in the Rye. I guess I'll put it in great reads. I really love the book, but I don't really think that it's a favorite. I think Holden Caulfield is too Holden Caulfield to really put it in the favorite reads, but I do quite like that book. The Secret Garden, another super fave of mine. Sense and Sensibility. Don't really remember it, honestly. I'd probably have to pick it up and give it a reread, but I do remember it being quite a good read. I don't know where to put Tess of the D'Urbervilles. The thing about Tess of the D'Urbervilles is when I was a teenager, I went through a real obsessive phase with Tess of the D'Urbervilles and the book and watching all the screen adaptations of it. But the fact is that I've never been able to reread it because it is so depressing. It's a better than meh book. I feel like there's way too many things in great reads here. But I guess I'll put it in great reads because I really do like the concept it explores, even though it's gonna destroy your soul. To Kill a Mockingbird, definitely in super shiny, right up there. Winnie the Pooh, I have a heck ton of nostalgia around Winnie the Pooh because it's a book my dad used to read to me. However, I don't know if nostalgia is enough to put it in my favorite of all time tier. I really like Winnie the Pooh, but I think it's going to have to go in great read. Wuthering Heights. Well, I do agree with Edward Cullen from Twilight that Wuthering Heights is not a love story, it is a hate story. I think the characters are really well formed and really well executed. I guess I'll put it in great reads. I feel like this is another one where I'd have to reread it. A Christmas Carol. I think I will put this in super shiny. I mean, you could only really read it at Christmas time, but it is one of my favorite Christmas tiny reads, and also without A Christmas Carol, there would be no Muppet Christmas Carol. Here is my ranking of the 36 books from my 100 books to read in a lifetime list. But what I like is that these reads are mostly in the higher tiers. There's not a lot in this low section, so I kind of feel like whoever compiled the books to be on this list picked like genuinely good reads, at least for me so far. Alright, so I guess that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed seeing my ranking of these books. Drop me a comment below and let me know how you would rank some of these tales and all that fun stuff. Comments really do help the channel. That is it for today. I will see you all soon. Bye!